Hello everyone, this is Lawrence. It's been a long time since I shot a video, probably about a month, and I've been meaning to do one, but recently I really got tied up in yard work, putting in a garden and other various spring projects. But today I said I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do it outside where we have plenty of sunlight, so hopefully take away from the blurriness of previous videos. You know, the grainy, the more light you can get in, the better. And this is going to be a video of a stack of records I have right here of some recent vinyl finds at thrift stores. I have a lot of records here, so I'm going to go through them zip, 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 zip. So let's get started. The Saturday before last, it was record store day, and I don't normally, hit the independent record stores, but I do see the importance of it for the vinyl community, people in the vinyl, to get together and have that community, and to promote vinyl, and to help the local independent record stores out. But I did buy one vinyl at a thrift store, a very nice one I found. I could not turn this one down. So that was my little record store day find. And we open it up. Great liner notes about the history of this recording in Moscow. And Horowitz, Vladimir, I guess that was his first name, was a famous classical concert pianist. And he's considered one of the best classical pianists ever. And this was a 1985 or 86 recording in Moscow, where he actually went back to his home country the first time since he was very young to do these series of performances. And on YouTube there's a documentary about it also. This is in beautiful condition. And when I saw it, I could not turn it down. Now, classical recordings, albums at thrift stores are usually in great condition, as this one is, and the vinyl's clean as a whistle. You see, classical fans are more demanding of the record companies, so they use better quality vinyl and pressing and all that, and they take great care of their albums. So when they hit the thrift stores, some of them pass away, they're usually in excellent condition. So this was my record store day there. Now the rest of them I'm going through quite quickly, but I had to explain this one here. And look at that spine. Okay, I was in the thrift store the other day, and this stack is popular music, classic vocals, some jazz, and a few odds and ends. The genius of Ray Charles. This is an early pressing on Atlantic Records, and the vinyl is in great condition. It just needs cleaning up. A few issues with the cover, but very happy to have it. Janice Ian, Between the Lines. It contained, this was her big album that went to #1, and she had at 17 her classic song that also went in the top 5 of Billboard single chart. Beautiful song. The music of that time was so special. Timepiece, The Best of Eric Clapton. Very cool. talking about, 70s music, especially top 40. I just showed the Janis Ian album, and at 17 was a big hit. uh, Back then, top 40 music, there was a lot of great songs uh, with lyrical content that had a lot of meaning. And Michael Murphy had a song called Wildflower that was along in that vein. This is a very good album. I've never had it, but I always liked the song um, Wildflower. No, I'm getting it. Wildfire. Okay. So I've never had this album. I just skimmed through it, and it sounds very good. I'm looking forward to listening to this one. Now, if you lived in 1979, if you were like a teenager or a young adult, you heard this album the summer and spring of 1979 all over the place. Okay, this Supertramp's Breakfast in America, their big multi-million selling album. And I've had this out. I got a really nice copy of it, but I found this in mint beautiful condition with shrink wrap still on it for only $1.49, and the vinyl's clean as a whistle. I mean, it really is. Whoa! And I look at it through the sunlight, so I went ahead and got it. This was Supertramp's last good album, Brother Where You're Bound. And it came out in '85 during the Reagan era, with tensions were always high between America and Russia, but they were kind of coming to a head and to a conclusion. So there was a lot of worry about nuclear war and all that. So the theme of this album touched on those issues. And it had this song Cannonball, which received radio play. Not as big as Breakfast in America, but pretty good, decent album. The Beach Boys, okay? Usually when you find Beach Boy albums at thrift stores, they're in horrible condition, because unlike classical fans, teenagers did not take care of their albums. But the Surfin' Safari, this one right here, I found to be in pretty good condition. So I went ahead and got it. Good playable condition. This is a CBS special project, Dionne Warwick. Some of her hits and lesser known songs. Two albums on this one. And on Spectre Records, so some kind of cooperation between Spectre Records and CBS to produce this two disc collection. Very good. Now, if you're into like 80s funk, this is very cool. The Gap Band, okay? I really listened to this. This really funks up, man. It's really cool. 1980, Joan Armatrading, Me, Myself, and I. I own a number of her albums, but it didn't have this one, so happy to have it. We're getting into some different genres of music now. This is like instrumental R&B, rhythm and blues type of music, Bill Black combo, and I own a series of these albums. So this one is King of the Road, Bill Black, and what they do is they play they do a make on the popular songs of the day and give it kind of a boom, 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 boom. You know, it's really cool, and they always use the same type of sound, but I really like it. Now, you don't run into much blues on vinyl these days. If you do, the records are in horrible condition. Blues music was not a big seller, geared toward a certain audience, but this is a 1972 Chess Records compilation. Howling Wolf, and 2 record set, gatefold, 72. This is the Chess Blues Master Series, and they did a similar series on a number of their artists. So you have this is in good playable condition. The covers has it's been weathered, but the sound is good. And this contains all the best known Howling Wolf tracks like Smokestack Lightning down at the bottom, Moaning at Midnight, Spoonful, you know. So very happy to have this. We get into some big band music, some jazz, some classic vocals. Blues by Basie, recordings from the 1930s and 40s. It's very cool. One of the great women of classic jazz vocal. Matter of fact, if you ever create a Mount Rushmore of the female classic jazz singers, this lady sure would be on it. And I'm talking about Sarah Vaughan. This is on the Mercury label. All My Favorites by Sarah Vaughan. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to listen to this, but I'll look forward to it. Another Sarah Vaughan. Pretty cool. And that's a great picture of her on the back. And Sarah just had one of those voices that it's like melding butter. I mean, it's great. Very technically, a very advanced technical singer. So happy to have that. Of course, chairman of the board, Frank Sinatra, that old feeling. This is a collection of when he was on the Columbia label. Not my favorite Sinatra period, but happy to have this. Now we're getting into my favorite period of Sinatra. That's the 1950s Capitol years. I have about 3 copies of this album, but this one, the album cover is in really good condition, but the album itself is as clean as a whistle. So I went ahead and got it for $1.49. Very cool. And this is one of his classic Capitol record label albums. Another great singer, Steve Lawrence. This is cool. Steve Lawrence, Portrait of My Love. Steve, I've always liked his vocals, nice and smooth, and he was a follower of Sinatra, and of course, him and Edie Gourmet were married, a big couple in the entertainment industry, especially in Vegas, and they had a really genuine love marriage that lasted forever until her departure, which is rare. Edie Gourmet, I've always been a big fan of, especially her Paramount ABC years, and I featured this album in another video, but later she recorded for Columbia Records, so I don't have too many of her albums from that period, from the Columbia years, but I found this one. I decided to go ahead and get it, and I like it very much. Not quite as much as the ABC years, but it's still Edie. Still, I just love her voice. So happy to have this one. Now, we're in the classic vocal period, of the 40s, 50s, and early 60s. This one I'm about to show you. Oh, I was amazed to get it. And this one, it sounds pretty good on discography, especially the condition I have it in. Oh, beautiful. I'm looking at the sunlight. Clean as a whistle. This is Tony Bennett's on Columbia, his third album. Look at that album cover. And it has some big names in jazz. Chico Hamilton, Joe Jones, Billy Extern, Exiner, Art Bluckley, and two other people. Great album cover. The old liner notes. And best of all, it's on the Columbia 6i. So this sells, you know, in this condition for about $60, $80 on discography. But I don't buy vinyls because I consider them stock and bonds. I buy them to enjoy them and to have a nice collection. Woody Herman and Earl Garner, and Woody sings and Earl plays. Woody is a big, was one of the great big band leaders, but he occasionally sung, and this is an album when he sung, and I just love that, you know, period album cover too. It's on Columbia 6i too. This is a 2-disc set, and this is a European pressing of the Platters, some of their hits and deeper tracks. Okay, now we're getting into the jazz. I'm just going to skim through them. Herbert Laws, that's pretty cool. Gatefold. This is a live concert done, I think it has the recording date on here, 1974. I'm still looking, oh yeah, October 4th, 1975. And it's very orchestrated. You could see the credits for all the string musicians there. This is very nice. Buddy Hackett at Amber's, a famous jazz clubs, and this has like a kind of a New Orleans type of feel. Russian Roland, very cool, another jazz musician. I'm not going to get into these names, but I'll just show there. This is on the Europa jazz label. Okay, very cool. George Adams, famous sax player. He also sung, 1979 release. Morton Denny, a later Liberty label there. Nice instrumental music, nice cover. And here is something on the Decca label. It's like a miniature downsized album here. And I brought it because I really like the artwork, the period artwork. This is Fats Waller's Favorites, played by James P. Johnson. And I was a little bit disappointed because when I brought it, I thought this is Fats Waller playing, but no, it's James P. Johnson playing Fats Waller's songs. But I looked James Johnson up, and he was a renowned jazz pianist in the same style of Fats Waller, and very cool in the back there. So happy to have that. And I just like the color, the cover, the colors, and all that, and the period design. So that's it. Got the Ocean View Civic Lead booklet here. Something I'm trying to get into. I have a sip of my tea and some concluding remarks. Okay. I love thrift store vinyl shopping because you find stuff like this. Off the wall stuff. Mainstream stuff. Albums that I wanted to buy when I was younger, but because I was between jobs and low on money, could not do it. So you're able to fill in those gaps. It's been a little frustrating to vinyl shop at thrift stores late, because now you have the flippers. We actually have 3 people in this area, my area, who hit all the thrift stores every day, every morning, and they buy up everything and all the good titles and sell them on discography. Well, that's not against the law. They just suck all the fun out of it, you know. But I'm still finding good stuff, as you can see there. I think my next I know my next video will be some of the recent CDs I've been finding at thrift stores, and believe me, that's where the action is now, because nobody really buys CDs at thrift stores. Not the collectors or the people who want to flip them, just people like me who want the music. So anyway, that's a conclusion. I'm glad I filmed this outside. Beautiful day, and I'll do a video of my garden. So I'm in my backyard enjoying some iced tea. Please leave a comment. I always dig comments, and I want to wish everybody a nice day. You take care. Bye.